need to celebrate all of the wins, every little win, because our brain is going to go to the negative. You didn't get this far yet, blah, blah, blah. And a good way to stop that is to say, I got in 2 workouts this week. Instead of being like, I missed 1, you say, I got in 2 workouts this week. I ate healthy Monday through Thursday instead of I cheated Friday night and ate like crap 1 meal. And that's where people's brains focus on instead of being like, I'm a winner. So really calling out all of the wins and ways you are making progress is so powerful.
Hey y'all, 𝐥𝐤𝐬 with the 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐤 podcast. Welcome back. We're so glad you're here. Would you do me a favor? It will only take you a couple seconds. Whether you're listening or watching right now, will you head on over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button? It really helps us get this message to more and more people that we can help. Greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here and enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Derelict Podcast. For the disparaged, depleted, and delinquent souls trying to find our way, we're talking about the scary part of the journey where we don't know how it'll end. Let's be free to face our fucking failures in real time as the most unadulterated, truest version of who we are. No sugarcoating. Welcome to the shit show, you derelict.
Hey, derelicts. Welcome to another episode of the Derelict Podcast. I'm your host, 𝐥𝐤𝐬, and we have a special guest today, Samantha. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous, Josh. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
For having me.
Good to see you. Absolutely. Yeah, Samantha and I got introduced online, and I just absolutely love her energy, and I love what she's all about. And she has some interesting background and some interesting things that she's doing. So I love that about you. You were an ultra marathoner, right? Mm-hmm. Before, yeah. And you help men and women in the 30s and 40s, and your tagline is the hot AF, right?
Yes.
So what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Like just introduce everybody. Like what? Let me ask it this way. I don't normally start the podcast this way, but I want to do it with you because I think you have some interesting things to say here. Why is anyone listening to you? So my audience, a lot of 30 and 40 somethings, right, that are here trying to better themselves, trying to become more authentically themselves, trying to get through whatever difficult life transition they're going through. I know a lot of that stuff applies to you. So instead of me just reading your bio, what's interesting about you? Why would they want to pay attention today?
Yeah, I love that. It's so flowy and off the cuff. So I help men and women get hot as fuck. For real. And what that means to me is, yes, it's about your hot AF body, that one that we all know that you are thinking about and you see for yourself. Okay. And do not deny that. Do not dismiss that. Okay. That's something honorable to have your hottest fucking body of your life, be flaunting it for yourself. Oh, and then guess what? You can get other things in that. So it's about your physical body and it's about your life. Like, those two things go together in my world. And that's been my experience. And that's what I want to bring to everybody else is like, when you feel like your life is hot AF and you're living in your purpose and the work you do lights you the fuck up. And when you are having fun with your kids and your relationships, whether that's dating or you're with somebody or just loving the single life, whatever it is, like all aspects of your life, when that's hot AF, that makes it natural flow to do the body. So I'm about this holistic approach of doing both together.
I love what you said. I love what you said there too, because like at least in the manosphere, is that what they call it, right? At least in the manosphere, everything that we are told as especially middle-aged men is get a six-pack and get your business just crushing everything else. And that's it. And that's like where it ends, right? There's very little about spirituality unless you listen to people like Eckhart Tolle. There's very little about your mental state and your mental attitude unless you listen to people like Tony Robbins, right? But most of it is the body and the business, right? As some people say, bank accounts and belt buckles. And there's so much more. There's so much more, right? So let's actually hit on that for a second because, well, you work with a lot of women. I work with a lot of men.
Yeah.
For me, by far the most attractive thing in a woman is she authentic to herself? Like, is she just being herself? Does she just love herself? Is she just being herself, right? Like that is the most hot as fuck thing I can possibly think of. It has nothing to do with looks or physical stuff. And that comes with it. but maybe let's talk about that. Like, why does this start in the mind? Why do people need to start kind of in the mental space of having that hot as fuck attitude before they get the hot as fuck body and the hot as fuck everything else? What do you think?
Yeah, because that's when you have the vision and when you have those higher quality thoughts about yourself, that is truly what makes us magnetic or authentic or energizing, attractive, is when we have those thoughts. And those, I think it's so important because that's also lasting. That's how we create it. It's like a lasting lifestyle thing. When we think like, oh, I just need to get the 6-pack for summer, or I just need to get this to get the girl, or whatever it is, it's like, that isn't going to last. So we need to create thoughts and a mindset that's going to, is it as a skill for life. And I think of mindset work and our thought work as, it's just like going to the gym. Like, you can't just go to the gym once or twice and get the 6-pack and then it goes away. We have to work every single week, going to the gym 3-4 times a week and working it. And ideally, even if you have a specific goal, you're thinking about it every day. And the same with our mindset as our thoughts. We've got to be thinking what we want and higher quality thoughts about ourselves on a truly like daily basis, most days. And that takes work. I really want to like call that out. It's not just like, I feel like so many times you hear in like mindset and mental health work, it's like, well, like, have your vision and your goals and you just think it.
Just do it.
Like that one time.
Just do it. Just do it.
Like,
just do it. Like, okay, I got, just do, okay. Like, aren't there times where we're going to struggle with it? I mean, so, okay. We're all about failures and struggles and everything else on here, Samantha. So I'm going to ask you to be vulnerable for a second. Do you struggle with this?
Do I struggle with
this? Just your mental attitude, your mental space. Like, is it just something that just flows easy for you and you're just always fucking Pollyanna dancing around on rainbows and sugar cookies?
No, it takes work.
Yeah. So help us. So it takes a lot of work for me too. This is not just something that happens, right? So like talk about your process a little bit. Because what I think I'm curious about and what I think would be really, really beneficial for the people listening is what's the process? Like when you start getting a spot. So here, I'll just be totally vulnerable and you can help me right now. Okay. Ready? You can do a little coaching for me on the podcast. This will be great. So I would say the last few months, I've been struggling with my confidence, which is something that I don't normally struggle with. I'm normally a very confident person. I walk in a room, I'm usually very magnetic. People just kind of flock to me. People tell me their whole life story. That's just how I've been my entire life. That's not to brag. It's just one of my superpowers. We all have superpowers. That's one of mine. One of my superpowers, I've been feeling like I've been having a lot of kryptonite lately. And I just feel like that confidence has been lacking. And that when I'm walking in, I don't want to go talk to that person. I don't want to go have that conversation with this woman. I don't want to do those things. If somebody feels that way, and let's say that somebody like me, I feel shame when I feel that, honestly. Because I'm like, I look at myself, I'm like, dude, you're in your 40s, bro. like you're not some insecure 16-year-old. Get your shit together. And that obviously doesn't help. So what do you tell somebody like that? What do you tell somebody that's kind of going through that space of like, I don't know if I feel hot as fuck. There's just this things and I'm focusing on these negative things. And what's your process? How do you work with that type of person?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Couple things. I would call it in 2 categories, would be the intangibles, which is like our mindset and some thought work, as well as tangible, literal things to do physically to get that confidence back. Literally in the moment, that day, and obviously we build on that. Mindset wise, intangibles is we want to reset our thoughts. So I love journaling. Journaling is such a great way. We need to get that shit. I call them shit show thoughts. When you're like, oh, I'm not good enough, or why am I feeling that? All of those things that have you feeling not confident or whatever that is for somebody. We need to get those shit show thoughts out of us, out of our body, out of our brain. So journaling is a great way to do that. I call it just like brain barf. Just put whatever is coming up for you. Oh my God, like get it out. And then you also pair that with.
And is that the only thing with journaling? It's just writing whatever. Is the focus supposed to be like on negative thoughts? Is it supposed to be just whatever you think about? Like what? Give us more specifics.
It's twofold. It's one that it's just brain barfing, all the negative thoughts, like we don't want to just cover those up, put them under a rug and say, oh my God, like I'm going to think positive thoughts now. You need to actually release those. So that's the first, you need to release is the first part. Say all the shit. You feel shameful, you feel blah, blah, whatever, all of it. And then you're going to write intentional thoughts. Intentional thoughts are, what do you want to think about yourself? What do you factually also know about yourself? Oh, you've been a coach for 8 years, coached 10,000 hours, 1,000 people. You've gotten this many people results and blah, 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 blah. You've, lost the weight twice after both babies and you've won these races. Shit, I'm actually a badass. Like, excuse me. So you want to write intentional thoughts then of like who you really are and what you want to think. Because our thoughts are just, they're like a ticker tape. Fast our thoughts. So I'll say that's like the mindset wise, that's like a go-to. You can also, if you're not a journaler or that doesn't feel right or good for you, go to a coach or like your best friend. Some way you need to first release the negative, find a way to get that the freak out of you through your hand, through your mouth, somehow. And then the tangible stuff is, okay, let's also working out for your mindset and your mental health. Please somebody tell me you went and did a workout and you did not fucking feel better after that. Huh? Like we feel better when we move our bodies. It literally increases the feel-good hormones and decreases cortisol stress. So
I love that you brought that up too, by the way, because I just want to pause for a second, because we live in such a society that's all about working out so that you can have the most perfect, amazing body, right? Which at the end of the day, like none of us are going to have, like a very small percentage are going to look like the influencers online that have the bodies that they have, right? Or the ones that actually spend 6 hours in the gym because that's their entire life and that's their livelihood and that's how they make money and all these other things, right? So for us normal people, it's very unlikely that we're going to look like most of the people online, especially with the filters and everything else, because that's not even what they look like in person, right? You meet that person in person, you're like, that's not even what you look like at all. I've had that experience plenty of times because I date. So there's that. And I love the fact that you said that, because that's a shift that I had to make in my mind. I don't know, probably a few years ago now when I work out, is that I'm not working out for the six pack. I'm working out for my mind. I'm working out for my spirit. And I want to make sure, because I've had those workouts where like I did a really hard workout and I was like, I feel like shit. Why the fuck do I feel like shit after I just did a hard workout? And it's because my mind was so fucked during the workout, I just was never able to release it, right? And now I consciously, when I go in to go work out, I'm like, look, this is so you feel better. This is not to make you feel worse. This is not try to lift a bunch of weights and then shame yourself because you can't lift the weights that the guy online lifts. Like, that's not helpful. No. That's not helping your mental attitude.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. 1,000%. And listen, ultramarathon athlete, top placing, first place in my 100-miler. And I would say half my workouts are for my mental health, period. So like that is such a power tool. Yes, I have goals too in my lifting and just in general, like when I'm doing a race or like right now, I gained 15 pounds of mostly muscle. Now I'm into a little cut, but I do want to say too, this whole like, I also think that our hot AF bodies are so fucking possible and not on like 6 hours a day, not even 6 days a week. I started lifting when I shifted to lifting 3 days a week. Now I do 4 days a week of like an hour and I walk. That's it, y'all. And you can see my abs. Okay. And I'm a mom of 2. So like, it does not take all of this, by the way, just to get your hot AF body. Okay. So I was, working out.
Can we actually just pause on this too? Cause I'm curious about your thoughts on this, but like pretty much every one in the nutrition space or anything else says that about 80% of that is food. That has nothing to do with exercise also. So do you agree with that? Do you disagree? Cause you're focused on exercise right now when you're talking about your body.
Yeah. I disagree with that in the sense that yes, is our nutrition and how we fuel our bodies important? Do you notice I call it fueling because I'm an athlete. So I think about fueling my body, not dieting, losing weight. How can I eat less and restrict myself? That is none of the things we do here. And I like to find ways that we can naturally do the things we want to do, whether it's working out or building the business. How can you naturally feel motivated and want to eat healthier? How do you do that? You work out. You move your body. If you work out, what do you want to do? Do you want the donut or do you want the chicken and vegetables, you know? So the more we actually move our bodies, the more naturally we just make healthier choices. I approach it a little bit differently. Yes, nutrition matters, but I think people put way too much fucking emphasis on the nutrition, and it's so much pressure that then you're like, oh, I can't eat this. I can't eat this. Oh, I can't do that. And if the scale goes, and it's like, just fucking relax. And when you relax, guess what? Because your body will hold on to weight when you're stressed. So
absolutely,
I don't care what you do for your nutrition and workouts. If you
I think what you just brought up is a really good point too, because it's whether people focus too much on exercise, which it's interesting you say that you think people focus too much on nutrition. I think people focus too much on exercise. So it's interesting that we both have a different perspective on that. But either way, whether it's focusing too much on diet or food or focusing too much on exercise, I do agree with you in the fact that I feel like too few people are focusing on the stress element of this. Because I don't know about you, but I've met several people in my life, including myself, by the way, where this has happened with me too, and several other people that exercise and they eat well and they're doing the things, and yet they're still fat, or they are losing all their hair, or fill in the blank, right? Yeah. They can't get to that body that they want to get to. And from my perception, a lot of it's just stress. A lot of it's up here. It all comes back to here again, right?
Oh my gosh. Can I share 2 stories about that?
Please.
Real quick? Okay. So first and foremost, I have 2 kids, 2 boys, 9 and 6 years old. And for both of my pregnancies, many women struggle with losing weight after they have their babies. I did not. And I'm not a fucking unicorn. It's what I teach and do with my nutrition formulas and my workout. But I never said to myself, I need to lose weight. I have to lose this baby weight. I've got to lose it. I never set out a goal to lose weight after my kids were born. What I did do was I set a goal for a race, because I love running ultra marathons in the race, and it made it fun. It made it like I wanted to get back out there and do that. And it naturally had me eating healthier and motivated naturally to do my workouts versus that stress of I've got to lose the weight after these babies. And so guess what? I lost the weight seamlessly. Like I actually went a size down after my first baby, which is probably unheard of. And then the second one I want to share about the stress and how that matters, especially like as an athlete and with my races, this happens a lot where people are like, they break under the pressure, right? And that's whether you're an athlete or you're in everyday life. And I had one race. So, okay, I went into this race. It was a New Year's Eve 6-hour resolution run. And I didn't even really want to do the 6-hour. It was in January, which is usually like my off season. So I hadn't been training for it. I was just like on my maintenance miles. And my friend said, come on, do the 6-hour instead of the 3. And I was like, fine. We went out the night before for New Year's Eve, partied, stayed up, drank, whatever. And the race wasn't until like 1. So I showed up. I literally told myself I might walk. I don't even that was my expectation. I'm like, I don't even know. Get to the race. Started running, pretty chill pace, just whatever, hanging out with my friends. About halfway through, my friend is like, yo, you're first place female right now. And I was like, no shit. Well, I guess I'll keep running. So I know these are not big races, you guys, but I kept running.
Did you just say a 6-hour race is not a big race?
Well, it's not like thousands of people. So first place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure 6 hours is a long time. So just wanted to clarify what you just said there. For everybody else listening that's like, what the fuck are you talking about? 6 hours isn't a big race. Okay.
Yes. Okay. In that sense, it is. So right. I keep going. And long story short, I have one of the best races of my life. I did take first place female. I was only 1 lap behind the male. And I went, it gives me goosebumps, to think about it. I went into that race relaxed AF. I had zero, I said I might even walk. But because that was I wasn't I've got to hit a first place female and I've got to do a 9-minute mile every single lap. And that can cause you to crack and stress and quit or give up or get overwhelmed and exhausted. And your body even breaks down, even if you do achieve it. Versus me, I was just like, yo, what's up? I just got first place.
Contribute that to the fact that you were relaxed when you started?
Because I wasn't stressed out about I wasn't stressing about the goal. I wasn't putting pressure on myself to lose the weight after my babies. I wasn't putting pressure on myself to win that race or else. And because of that, I didn't have, and I just feel like that's also a part of my life. I don't have so much stress that it allows me.
Yeah, that makes a lot. Thank you. I love that story. I love both of those stories. And I want to go back to I want to talk about both of them, but especially the first one. So somebody's listening, and I've definitely been through this plenty of times in my life where I'm like, okay, well, I'll just use myself. The running is not a motivator for me. Mm-hmm. Doing a race is not a motivator for me. It has been in the past. I've done a couple short triathlons and a few other things, right? But it's not a motivator for me at all. So for a guy like me, what do you say to them? What do you, because your motivator was, I want to go do this race and it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, for most of them, I think I'm going to speak for most of the population right now that thinks you're fucking crazy for thinking that sounds fun. For us normal people that don't think that's fun, how do we do the same thing? What would you say?
I love this question, Josh. I'm so glad you asked it. So, because I always say, like, you don't have to be a runner. You don't ever have to run in your life if you do not like that. Please don't. Yeah. Everybody just needs to find what that is for them. What is that?
Can you think of some examples of like women that you coach?
Well,
things that
I'll even give an example of like my pivot. So I hung up my ultra marathon running shoes this last fall. I did ultras for 10 years and I just felt called to move into lifting more. I wanted to double the size of my ass was my goal. I'm halfway there, 10 pounds up. And so I shifted. I literally basically stopped running come December, which y'all just heard, like ultra runner for 10 years. Like I used 6 miles was like a little baby run to me. So I shifted to lifting 3 days a week, then 4 days a week. I gained 15 pounds of muscle. But see, then that was my goal. Like I shifted. I don't even have a desire at all to run ultras at all anymore. Like running 3 miles now to me sounds like a normal person. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Because my goal and my vision changed. I want to get a fucking fat ass and I'm getting it. And so now I have the desire to go lift heavy and hard and build that muscle 4 days a week in the gym and just walk. So even there, that was what I just felt called. I really listened to myself.
Felt called to have a fat ass?
I felt called to have a fat ass. And so that is even one example. And a lot of women that follow me and I coach with, like they want to have that, toned or a muscular body, or they want the fat ass too. Like, so whatever it is, like you've all got to find that. I loved it, like that calling. It's so compelling to you. You can't like not do it, or you start DIYing it and you're kind of like trying it, but then you're like, can I clarify something with you though? Is this something that's easy for you to figure out? So this is like so I had wanted. Like there was a program, it's called Booty by Brett. I had wanted to do that and started to kind of dibble dabble 2 years ago. And it wasn't a priority. I was still doing ultras.
Well, let me make sure. Can I make sure you're understanding my question? My question is it easy for you to figure out that thing that is that like that goal, that vision that I can't live without, I got to go do this?
I want to say no. It's not like I'm so special that, like ultras. I read a book called Born to Run and was like, what the fuck is this? I want to do this. I read one book. So I was reading books, but before that, it's not like I desired to run ultras my whole life. I never even knew about them until I read that book. Okay. And once I did.
Here's the reason I'm asking, Samantha, and I'm going to be, again, vulnerable with you right now today. I'm feeling vulnerable today, apparently. And this is that one of the things that I have found in my life, and I've also seen this with a lot of the men that I coach as well, is that sometimes I have a really hard time figuring out what that thing is.
Okay.
Like, yes. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know what that thing is that I'm so excited about. Like, do I want to be an excellent father? Sure. Do I want to be an excellent coach? Sure. Do I want to have a great body? Sure. But like, none of those are like the thing that takes me to the gym for an hour a day. Does that make sense?
It does. I think a lot of people would relate. And what I would say, and what I find like working with clients, is that a couple things. It's like, one, intuition. Like, are we all checking in truly deeply with what the fuck you want? Like most of us, mostly what happens a lot of times is we're like, yeah, I want to like have a good body and like whatever. And we're like, because we should have a good body, because everybody else has a good body, because the business guy we look up to has a good body, because blah, 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 blah. And it's not because it's what you want. So
we should on ourselves all the time. And as an old mentor of mine used to say all the time, is she would look at me and she'd say, don't should on me and I won't should on you.
Yes. So we need to peel that. Like and I really love intuition walks. Like go for a walk without the podcast in. Okay, you can walk with this in for funsies and then stop when you're done. Like go for a walk with no music, no podcast, no things to do. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes. If it's hard, start with 10 minutes, nothing. And allow yourself to just be and see what comes to you. We have so much noise. We're always listening to something, doing something. We got camera. Like we're not giving ourselves the silence to even open the door to see, what do I want to do? And take away all the shoulds. And I promise you, there is probably something deep down inside there that maybe, like you're talking about vulnerability, we're afraid to say we want to do, or it feels scary to do. It feels hard or very challenging. Like, how the fuck would I do that? I've got kids, I've got to work, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I think that's the barriers that come up. It's not that we all don't have that inside us. It's just that it's buried.
Are there any other tangibles that you'd recommend for that? So I hear intuition walks. Is journaling one of those as well?
Journaling is another great way. And you guys, I want to offer with these, it's probably not going to be the first time you journal and go for the intuition walk. Okay. Like if you're 1 foot buried, all right, maybe that's a week or two, a few walks and a few journal sessions. If you've been buried for a long time and not been listening to yourself and what you want and honoring that, this could take some journaling and some intuition walks to do that. And I really, honestly, those are like, I think really 2 good tangible ones.
On the intuition walks, what is to prime us? Because I'm going to try this as well. So to prime me and anybody else listening that's going to try this. What am I priming my brain with? Like, what am I saying to myself? What am I making sure that I'm not saying to myself? Like, what's happening on these walks? So I get no electronics, and that one makes perfect sense to me because I am #1 culprit of always having a podcast on, always having music on, always having some noise on all the time, for sure. And I need that space to just have none of that. So I totally get that. But then but there's a lot of noise up here. So what am I doing with that?
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And honestly, I think a great way to start is just really a simple question of like, this is what we're talking about, spirituality, and like whether you believe in God, universe, whatever it is, but just source, however it is, just saying God, universe, source, like show me what I need today. Or show me what's my thing. What's my thing? Just ask that question. And then that's where you hold the space for the answers. And yes, your brain may, and I honestly, to help my brain kind of like not drift off, I say it again. Okay, God, show me today. What's the one thing I need to do today? Or show me one thing today that will get me closer to this thing. I know I'm called for more. I know I really want to tap into this thing for my body, for my business, whatever it is. Show me one thing today, or show me that next step. Give me a sign. That's another one. Give me a sign. Like, and you can ask for what sign, like show me something yellow today. That means like, this is like on my path. You can ask for something specific. I have found, I just kind of like to say, show me a sign and make it like more magical and allow it to come. So asking some questions and then allowing the answers to come. And usually from then you'll kind of start to be like, okay, yeah, maybe you'll be like, show me a sign here. Okay. Can you show me this? Can you like have a conversation with the universe, God, spirit? Like that to me allows me to ground a little bit and not just squirrel brain, but also get answers and see what comes to you.
I love that. So I'm going on a walk. I'm taking at least 15, 20 minutes, no electronics. I'm asking the questions that you ask, God, what's my thing? What do I need today? Show me a sign.
Yeah.
And just seeing what shows up. And then my squirrel brain starts getting crazy. And then I go back to my squirrel brain and I'm like, okay, it's not what we're doing right now. Show me a sign. What am I here for? Right?
Yes. And actually, I do want to even add, I almost sometimes too, now I'm thinking about this, is like, it's almost like a journal in my head space. So I'm not like, I could start to like say, hey, this is where I'm at and what I'm feeling a little lost. And, I've tried this and that, can you please, so it's like a little journal conversation you might journal that out sometimes, but you could use that on the walk too. And you're just getting it out in your head, sharing it with God, source, universe. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Are you doing all this in your head, or you just say anything out loud?
This is all in my head when I'm on the intuition walk. And I have allowed myself now at time, like I will bring my phone with me to take notes, not allowed to go on Instagram or listen to something or drift squirrel brain. But I actually keep, I'm like pull it up right now. I have, it just says notes journal on the notes app on my phone. And I just date it every day. And all throughout the day, I'm actually like taking like a notation. There'll be a little drop in and be like I'm fucking back. And like, it's like a thought and I'm like, oh, and I just, cause we have our phones with us all day. So I do this all throughout my day, but I will, now that I feel sufficient, like I'm more of a pro at these intuition walks, I will bring my phone sometimes to like pull up, oh, if a thought comes to me, a download comes on that intuition walk. And I'm like, oh, I'll make a note of it on my phone. And I think that's super important for a couple reasons. Like once you've kind of just given yourself a little space to do it without the phone, is one, we're getting it outside of us, like whether you look back on it or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, y'all. Like,
are you writing this or speaking this?
I'm typing it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're getting it outside of us. I think so many times, when we think about, we keep so much up here. We're just, and then it just like goes into this spiral and this thing. We need to get stuff out of us more, good, bad, and ugly, all of it.
I agree. I'm going to encourage you with something. Okay. I'm going to give you a challenge too, just like you gave me a challenge.
I love it.
And that is the next time you do one of these, I would encourage you to speak some of it out loud. Try it.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've learned in my life that I've also coached men on before that has been very helpful for me is when I say, and some of this will depend on what type of processor you are, right? Like I'm somewhat of a verbal processor. So that's part of the reason this helps as well. If somebody's like not a verbal processor at all, maybe it doesn't help as much. I don't know, but still try it. Yeah. And that is when there's something powerful about you hearing you say something.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful things for me about this podcast is rewatching what I say to encourage myself when I'm discouraged.
Yes.
Which might sound weird. You're like, that seems really full of yourself. No, it's not. It's the fact that those thoughts are in there. And when I'm in a good state and I'm in a good space, it's coming out. And then when I'm in a negative space and I'm a negative, I need to get back into that positive space.
Yes.
And I'll do this with voice memos on my phone. I'll record myself. It's another reason to record yourself. So I would really encourage you next time you go on one of these walks, especially when you get to the part, you're done. Let's see what you said with the journaling. Like once you get your shit show thoughts out, right? And you're releasing all those negative thoughts and then you're getting to the intentional thoughts is what you call them, positive thoughts. Especially when you get to those, try saying them out loud.
Ooh, okay.
Just try it.
I love that.
See how it goes. And by the way, this is not, I want to be clear about something. This is not like verbal affirmation in the mirror that like a lot of people despise, including myself, because it just feels so fucking cheesy and ridiculous. This is not like looking at yourself in the mirror and being, I am beautiful. I am amazing. I'm intelligent. I am worthy of love. Like all on you. If that works for you, that's great. Does not work for me. But what does work for me is for me walking around saying things out loud. And then because the more I say it and the more then I hear it, because now I'm involving multiple aspects of my brain, right? I'm thinking it, I'm saying it, and I'm hearing it. And the more that pattern continues, the more I start believing it. This can be used in negative senses as well. I don't know why this just came to me, but I remember learning a long time ago. Let's talk about a negative aspect of this real quick. I remember learning a long time ago that one of the things that the Nazis did to Jews in internment camps and concentration camps and everything else is that they would speak negatively to them about them. You are trash. You are worthless. You are the scum of the earth. You need to be eliminated. They would say things like that to them over and over and over and over and over. And the people that didn't have the mental fortitude or the even verbal affirmations of themselves, a lot of them died. And it really didn't have much to do with the physical element. It had to do with the stressful element of feeling like they're a worthless piece of shit because they were told it so often. Now, I know it's a terrible story. And what makes it worse, Samantha, is I don't know about you, man, but I do this a lot to myself. I have in the past, at least. I don't do it nearly as much anymore. But we do this to ourselves, right? Like the way I speak to myself at times in my head, I would never speak to my kids. Right? Like I would never tell my kids that they're worthless and they're meaningless and that they don't understand how to do this. Or maybe it doesn't have to be that extreme. Maybe it could just be, yeah, you're not going to be able to figure this out. Yeah, this is probably too much for you. Yeah, you probably took on too much. You know, don't worry about it. You're just not as good as that person. Like these things that seem subtle are not subtle, because the more I tell myself that, let me give you an example. One of the men that I was, this happened, you know, probably 6 months ago or so, this man that I was coaching, just really distinctly remember when I started working with him, he was really all about like the amount of times that he would say something negative and then not even realize that it was negative was astounding. Like it would happen every single time we had a phone call. And I don't use ultimatums very often, but it was every single time. And it was, he thought he was processing like what was happening with that woman that he was dating, or what was happening with the food that he was eating, or what was happening with the exercise that he was doing. And he would think that he was processing that, but it wasn't in your sense. It wasn't like just releasing the negative thoughts to then put in intentional thoughts. It was a pattern of him saying things like, well, you know, I didn't really do this, and I'm not really, you know, used to this. And well, I just don't have that kind of body. And I just don't really have those genetics. And, you know, women just kind of always do this. And, you know, I don't understand why women do that. Like whatever it is, it was just reinforcing truths in his brain that he couldn't break out of. It was just constant. It was constant sense of, you're not worth it. Here's the reasons why. And for him, it was so subtle that even when I called him on it, he's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to explain. I'm like, okay, I understand that you're trying to explain, but here's the deal. If you explain something by saying women are X, fill in the blank, your brain, the only thing your brain hears is not the explanation. The only thing your brain hears is women are X. So if you continue to say that women are gossipy, manipulative, and backstabbers, that's what you're going to believe. And then guess what your experience is going to be with every single woman that you meet? You're going to see that element of them, even if that's not who they are. Because that's my filter, right?
Oh my gosh, this is so, it's like, I hope everyone's like grasping this of like the power of our thoughts, our mindset. And what that comes to me is like our stories. And I feel so grateful, Josh, that when I found coaching, like I started as a health coach over 8 years ago, but when I started my own business and I hired my first coach and learned about intentional thoughts and like how our mind works and started using tools and coaching. Like, I am so grateful that we know this. I know this because my life is complete. I literally feel like every single year of my life, I'm a different woman. I'm a different person. And I've changed and I will continue to grow and change. And I have that ability because I have the skill to shift my thoughts and my story and my beliefs, therefore my beliefs. And that's helped me through my separation, through all of my athletic endeavors and my body, all of it. Like in business, oh my God, as an entrepreneur, the amount of times you have to talk yourselves, like all of it is because we have this skill of like the mindset to shift your thoughts and your ability to tell a different story about your past, about what's going on. That's an empowering one. And it's day and night difference. Absolute game changer. Your life changes when you change your thoughts and your stories, period. Yeah.
And you just learn how to love yourself. I mean, that's still something that I'm learning how to do in my 40s, is just to love myself for who I am. I mean, it's, you know, there are and always will be plenty of people that will tell you about yourself and whatever the story they have of you. God forbid you do anything online. Fucking hell. Goodness sake. I mean, I swear to God, before, like, I think my life might have been happier a year and a half ago when I wasn't online at all, because like, no matter what I put, like, yeah, I'll give you an example. And I've posted about this before. You know, I'm a big fan of Mr. Beast and, you know, the biggest YouTuber of all time. And he was doing this podcast episode a while ago, and he was talking about One of the things he said that was really fascinating to me, he said, the more good stuff that I do online, like the better the video is for humanity, the more hate mail I get for it, which is just fascinating.
Yeah, that's
just fascinating. And he was talking about, you know, however many thousands of death threats he's received because he gives money away to people, which just in a logical way makes absolutely no sense. And no one would ever do that in person, right? If I was in person with you right now and handed you $100, somebody right next to you wouldn't be like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, but they'll do it online, which is insane to me, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life is that no one else can tell you your story.
No.
You get to decide how you tell your story.
Yes.
So when you struggle with that, Samantha, because I'm sure you still do, I'm sure it doesn't just come naturally for you.
Yeah.
When you struggle with that, or the people that you coach struggle with that, what do you tell them? If I'm struggling with my story, I'm struggling with who I am, I'm struggling with like even how to see the positive aspects of myself. Obviously, I have some tangibles. I can go on intuition walks and I can journal and that sort of thing. But what do I tell myself so that I'm not this like cliche, you know, guy looking in the mirror saying, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are amazing, you're a rock star, right? So I don't do that. What do I tell myself?
Okay. Y'all may or may not. You tell yourself what you want to tell yourself. Like, I don't have that answer for you or for my clients. I don't have it goes back to like, who are you? What do you want? And we all like have to, and I know that seems simple and like, it's just like when, I don't know about you, but when like clients come to you, and especially in like working out world, they're like, just tell me what to do. Just tell me the answers. And it's like, that's not, I don't have the answers for your life, for what's going to light you the fuck up and make you feel alive. Like, again, I ran ultra marathons. I loved them. I got up at 3:45 in the morning postpartum to go on a fucking trail run, even on my period, because I wanted to run and I wanted to win races. Like, most people in the world will not do that. Period. End of story. Even if there's like $1 million at the end. Like,
right.
I wanted that. That was me. So I think I really just want to like emphasize, like, it's what you want to tell yourself. Like, so for example, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
This will spur a little something for everybody. Is like, so I was working with a client. We had a coaching call the other day, and I actually have gotten this coaching before, and it came back to me, and I was like, yes. And the thought is, I am that bitch. I am that bitch. And if like y'all know that saying, it's like, it's just like a really powerful where I'm just like, I don't need permission. I don't need anyone to anoint me. I'm going after NFL coaching clients and coaches, athletes, all these things. I do not need anybody to tell me like I'm that great and good. Because you know what? I know I am that bitch. And so it's like, that's one of my thoughts that came to me. And that feels really fucking like, oof, like I'm feeling it.
I love that.
I can feel it in my like chest. I can feel the heat from that.
How do you tell yourself that if there aren't any results to prove it?
Ooh, that's the thing. It's not dependent on the results. You have to think the thoughts first, feel it in your body like I just did. And that's how you get and create the results. We do not, if anybody is looking for the evidence on the outside, I need the partner, I need the business, I need the money, I need the clients. That's not how it works. You have to think the thoughts and believe it and feel it, and it will.
It's worse than that's not how it works. That's what will destroy you.
Yes.
I mean, that absolutely destroyed me. Because for most of my life, I thought, well, I got the beautiful wife in the beautiful neighborhood with the best school district, with the amazing house, with all the cars that I needed, with, you know, amazing kids. And I'm active in Rotary, and I'm the youngest president of the financial association ever. And I really know all the city council members and the mayor, and I'm involved with my church, and I'm probably going to go for mayor sometime. And I wear 3-piece suits, and I'm not making any of this up. This was my life. I literally just described my life to you. And I didn't realize how fucking miserable I was because I didn't want any of that shit. And none of it at the end of the day mattered because I was a chameleon living for other people's approval and wanting other people to love me so that I could feel good about myself, which is the classic definition of codependency. And it wasn't until my life fell apart and I thought it was over, specifically with my divorce, where I woke up and I was like, this isn't even who you are, what you want. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And it wasn't a shaming conversation like it sounds right there. It wasn't. It was more of just like a realization of like, is this really what you want out of your life? And for me, that's helpful whenever I start going down different paths.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm falling into one of my, medicative behaviors or addictive behaviors, or one of those behaviors that's not what's best for me, right? Like it might not be that bad. I might just be getting an extra snack or watching a little extra Netflix or something else. It's not going to like kill me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's also not what's my best life. What's helpful for me is I just kind of have a little conversation with myself of like, look, what you're doing is good, but like, is it great? Is it excellent? Is it like really what's fulfilling you? Is it really what's giving you purpose? Is it really helping you in your mission in life? Is it really what you want?
Yes.
So for me, to answer my own question, I guess, that's what I do with myself, because that to me is a lot more authentic than like just saying shit to myself that I may or may not believe, or like saying things like I've had a hard time with kind of the classic manifestation approaches to life, because I feel very inauthentic if I'm like, I am the best social media short creator in the universe. I'm like, but I'm not, because the results show me that like I'm not. You know what I mean? So like that to me is very inauthentic. So like, I guess my question for you, how do you balance the inauthentic nature of what the results show versus like how you feel about yourself? Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Great question. Cause that's exactly, I wanted to like touch on that, is you need to find bridging gap thoughts. You got to bridge the gap between, and not even just thoughts, but even the actionable items, right? So it's like, you're right. It will not work if you're like, I love my body and you fucking hate it. Like that's not going to work. What you need to do is you need to find thoughts that bridge that gap, that start to bridge that gap, that are more neutral, what I would call like a neutral thought. So it's like, I have a body. My body is healthy. If you feel that, if you can, but you have to be able to have some feeling and belief in that thought versus like I'm a millionaire, or I'm the best YouTuber in the world. And you're like, oh, like, that's like, no, I make YouTube videos. I'm getting better every day.
I identify as a YouTuber.
So it's like, what are those bridging the gap thoughts, these more neutral thoughts that you can believe? And then it's like you start to say those and create those. And then guess what? You do things because you're making progress as a YouTuber. So then it's
the progress, that's so key. Samantha, I love that you said that. This is brilliant, because I think that's where it's at. It's on the progress. It's on the gain. It's on not where I want to go and shaming myself for not being there yet. It's where I've come from and celebrating my success.
Yeah.
Like I had this moment the other day, me personally, where I was looking at some of I'll go back to the video, the YouTube example, because this has actually happened to me. I was looking, I look at analytics of my videos all the time, because obviously what you focus on is what grows. And I was focusing on all these analytics, and my brain started going to the place of, this is not as successful as you thought it would be by now. You're not getting as many views as you want. You're not, like, it would go all towards the gap of like where I'm going, where I want to be, where I was failing. Like that's where my brain was going. And I immediately was like, stop, because a year and a half ago, you had not made a single video in your life. And that's literally what I told myself.
Yes.
I said, you had never made a video ever a year and a half ago. And now you have hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people watching some of your stuff. Yes. So stop, because you never even did this a year and a half ago. And this is what I also tell myself when I hear the critic's voice, whether it's somebody else or myself, is like, no, stop. As even if you might have some accuracy to you, like if somebody else commented like, oh, you don't have any views. I'm like, okay, yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Because a year and a half ago, I had 0. Right?
Yes.
So like, I think of like a person that's overweight and they want to, shed some pounds. They want to release weight, right? Mm-hmm. And they want to get into the body that they always wanted, as an example. I think about when I've been in those situations. And the thing that doesn't help is shaming myself and like, you have a shitty body. That obviously never helps. Mm-hmm. But what does help is like all the things that, like you said, you could focus on that are actually positive. Like my body works, like I breathe. Like maybe it has to be that basic. Yeah. I'm able to breathe easily. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I'm able to like pee without a problem.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever it is, like I can walk a block without getting winded, like whatever the positive things are.
Yeah.
I think we could all maybe use some help just focusing on a bit more.
And you just made me think too of like specifically what I do almost every single week with my clients, and I do for myself, and this is like, and I do, and coaches do for me, is celebrate. Like basically what you were saying is like, we need to celebrate all of the wins, every little win, because our brain is going to go to the negative and how far you have to go and you didn't get this far yet and blah, 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 blah. And so and a good way to stop that in its tracks is to say, I got in 2 workouts this week. Okay. Instead of being like, I missed 1, you say, I got in 2 workouts this week. Okay. I ate healthy Monday through Thursday. That's 3 meals a day for most people, if not more. Like that's whatever. What is that? 3 times 5 is 15. I ate 15 healthy meals this week instead of I cheated Friday night and ate like crap 1 meal. And that's where people's brains goes and they focus on, instead of being like, I'm a fucking winner. So really calling out all of the wins and ways you are making progress is so powerful. Like low key, game changer.
For sure. And it's got to be about the journey and the destination, right? Like I'm a firm believer of this. It's, a lot of people say it's about the journey, it's not about the destination. Well, I think it's both, because if it's all about the journey and it's not about the destination, then that means I'm never going to celebrate when I get somewhere that I worked really hard to get. So I'm not really a fan of that. But I've also been in a place like this, even happened to me last year, is a good example. I wrote my very first book last year. My second book's about to come out. It'll probably be out already by the time this podcast airs. But I wrote my first book last year. I did it. I was really proud of myself. I really got in the zone. I did it really quickly. Like it was just kind of this whirlwind of genius. I felt like it was just like when you're in the zone, right? Like I was in the zone. I wrote this thing. And then I remember when I hit publish and it just all disappeared, like immediately. And I literally had to sit there and be like, dude, you just wrote a book. Like most people never will do that in their life. Can you take a moment to be happy and not to think about all the negative things about the fact that now you have to market it and now you have to publish it and now, like just sit in it, right? I think we could all use that. I don't know, maybe nobody else is like this, but I know for myself, like I could use more help just sitting in that's awesome. It's progress. We're never going to be perfect. And it's great to always have all these goals, but just be happy with yourself. Such a hard thing to do right now when like everybody, social media and everything else is saying, here's all the reasons why you shouldn't be happy with yourself.
You know
Seems
what?
like a talent that is long gone.
Yeah. I don't honestly know if it's something that any of us come equipped for. It's just like the way our human brains work is to celebrate ourselves and like, and it's definitely not in society and culture. But what came up for me there even was like, and what I've used for myself and have always used is a fucking rock bed of support. Like my friends and family, social media people, even like I am surrounded by other baddies who lift me up. So like when I was having a down season, like in April and May, and like honestly, possibly like worst mental health I'd had in a long time, if maybe ever, I don't like, or for sure, like last 10 years, maybe. And didn't feel like myself. I fucking reached out to my girlfriends and I was like, can we meet for coffee? Like, and then once I was coming back and I was like, I'm doing a little bit better. And they're like, yes, girl. Like, and so I'm surrounded and this didn't just fall into my lap. Like, oh, I just have the best friends and the best support group because I just sit here and they come to me. Like I have put myself out there to meet these incredible women and friends that I now have. And I also communicate with them on a regular basis versus like just going to the breakdown. And in coaching groups, connecting with other people though, like I am surrounded by a group of people that like, if I need to, or when I am shitting on myself, they're a text or a message or something away, and they will edify me and speak life and aliveness into me. And I think that's so important. And also possibly a lost art. Like you and I we get coaches. We understand the value of that. And I think a lot of men maybe might not even be into like counseling or therapy is like I hear that, I know that from experience, like, And so just the more support and the more people in our lives that can edify us and speak that life into us when we are like in the dumps, I think so powerful, so important.
Absolutely. And it actually goes, I think, back to your 2-step process of journaling. And that is, just like a warning sign to people. This is something that I've gone through a lot in my life, is that there's 2 elements you said of journaling. And that was to release the negative thoughts and then to put down the positive, impactful, missional thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes with friends, we can do one or the other and not both, which can actually hurt the friendship. So let me give you an example. I've been in places of my life where I have, vent friends, where I just call them and vent about all the shit that's going on in my life, right? And I vent it all out, and it's supposedly supposed to help me make me feel better. But if it's just getting rid of the negative thoughts, that doesn't always help. Most of the time, in fact, it doesn't at all, because I'm not replacing them with anything.
Right.
And if all I'm doing is saying negative thoughts out to this person, guess what's getting reinforced is the negative thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And you flip that over to kind of that man in the mirror telling himself that he's beautiful thing. If all I'm doing is putting out positive, intentional, missional thoughts, and I'm completely ignoring the negative stuff that's growing underneath this carpet, that's just getting shoved under the rug, that's not good either, because I'm not actually being authentic with who I really am. Mm-hmm. And I've just seen in my life, especially, I agree with you, my friends now, so grateful and blessed by them. But in my past life, you got to be really, what's the word I want to use? I don't know. You have to be really on guard, right? You have to be really on guard with how that friend speaks and how you speak with them and what that looks like. Because I promise you, you don't want to be in that friendship where it's just always getting rid of negative thoughts all the time, because it's just not going to help. And you also don't want to be in the friendship where no one can be authentic about the negative, like insecure stuff they're dealing with. And everything's just work harder, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, just go do it. Blah, 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 blah. Like those don't help.
No, you're 1,000% right. And I guess like, I don't have those friends in my life, like, or if somebody presented themselves or I found out through a new friendship that they were like that, I just don't talk to them as much. I don't make an announcement and say, you're not my friend anymore, we can't be friends. Like, I just don't text them. And
you don't have to. You don't have to. There's circle of friends, right? So you get to decide who your circle is and how close they are to you. And I've had to do this with friends in the past where I've realized like, oh, they're just going to be in this bucket, one of the 2 buckets I just mentioned. So that doesn't mean that I'm just going to like say, hey, we're never talking ever again. But they're not also going to be in my close circle, because I can't have that negative energy around me all the time. It's going to fuck me up. So yeah, we'll be acquaintances, we'll be friends. Maybe we'll see each other every once in a while. Maybe we'll go out to coffee once a year, do whatever, right? Like we'll do those things and like keep up the friend thing because we have history and whatever reason. I don't want to just cut ties altogether, but they can't be like feeding my life.
Right.
They can't be a major influence on my life, because if they are, my mind's going to go there. It just will, because that's how we get influence, is the 5 people that influence us the most. And I just can't put that person there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is great, Samantha. Thank you. I could talk to you for hours. I appreciate you being on the show, but because we're not a Joe Rogan podcast, we're not going to go for another 3 hours. Only Joe Rogan could go for 4 hours and make it interesting somehow. Wow. So here's the deal. I love your energy, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, like, how do I get a hold of this woman? I want to feel hot as fuck. I'm in my mid 30s, 40s, etc., and I want to chat with her. How do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, I mostly hang out on Instagram. I'm at Samantha Nivens, my name. Samantha, and then Nivens is Nivens. And I do have a YouTube channel too. It's just the Hot AF channel with Samantha Nivens. But really, Instagram is probably the best place to hang out. Oh, and I wanted to share with all of your listeners that if they follow me and DM me Josh, so I know that they came from this podcast and from you, Josh, then I am offering a free 30-minute one-on-one coaching call. And you guys can use that for whatever, if it's around your body and you want to, I will deep dive into your nutrition, your workouts, all of that to come out the other side with solutions. If it's in your relationship, if it's in whatever it is, no strings attached, totally free coaching call, just DM me, Josh.
Thank you so much. That's a very generous offer. I appreciate that. I bet people will I hope people take you up on that. So take her up on that, because that's awesome. That's great. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Josh. This was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. All right. Until next time, we'll see you later, you derelicts.